What's up, book babes? Get comfy, get cozy. It's time to chill. I'm Cassie.
And I'm Emily, and this is Book Fits and Chill, the podcast where we break down every chapter, thirst over fictional men, and never take ourselves too seriously.
That's right. But today we're taking something extremely seriously because we are covering the book that quite literally changed it all. A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. This book is basically our Bible at this point. There's not much else to say about it other than that it changed everything, basically like a religious text.
This is the fandom's Bible. This is everything to anybody that starts their romantic journey.
Everything. And this was our reread. So you would think that the effect would have worn off, but turns out it was even stronger the second time
Stronger
around.
than ever.
Stronger than ever.
Drunk happiness that I got from reading this book. We have to get into it. But a bit of a state of the union before we start. So There are going to be spoilers. This isn't a spoiler-free zone. We have a lot to say, a lot to giggle about. There's a lot of chaos to discuss. So if you haven't read this book yet, this is probably going to ruin a few things. And if you made it through ACOTAR, this is not the time to stop. This is the time to keep going. This is when your real journey begins. So we're going to go into a light recap, do some character rankings, talk about some fun Easter eggs you're going to want to stay around for, and then kind of get into some final thoughts on part one.
That's right. And we have a lot to summarize. If you are watching, this book is thick. You're deep in it if you're getting into this book. You gotta strap in. This book is 624 pages. And this is the true test of like if you're ready to really take on this series. So okay, let's start our recap. And we kick off at the beginning of the book with Feyre puking her guts up. She's basically puking up every single nutrient in her body. And we find out that she has been plagued by nightmares since they returned from under the mountain. She's dreaming of being stuck in her cell, of going through the trials, of killing the fairies that she had to kill. It's all horrific, and she's deeply, deeply traumatized. And all of the while, Tamlin's just asleep, fast asleep in bed, like not a care in the world. She's not waking him up either. Like they're both guilty here. Yeah, like, and it's funny because it's like he's a high lord, he's Fae. It's like he has superhuman hearing, like, and smell. Like he knows that she is vomiting everywhere, and he's just also choosing to like not go to her side at all.
He is just so happy that the masquerade mask is no longer on his face. Nothing could ruin his day, not even his beloved wife.
He's like, I don't need to do my skincare routine around a mask anymore. I can just literally just do it all together, and it's so nice.
Do you feel like your expectation at the beginning of this book was that they were going to talk a lot more about where the masks went and what everybody's faces look like without them? Because I can't believe they didn't go into graphic detail about that.
I would agree. I feel like she like kind of mentioned for certain people at the end of the first book, but it was specifically Tamlin. But I agree. Like, I don't feel like we got a very intense description of Lucien. We definitely didn't get one of Alice. Like, she just kind of breezed past it, and she's like, oh yeah, I can see all these people's faces now.
Bullshit.
No big deal.
Bullshit.
You know what? I think it's the PTSD. I think she was not with us on this earth for a lot of the first part of the book. So we also learned that Tamlin proposed to Feyre at a certain point that is not disclosed, and she obviously accepted, and they're planning this whole wedding while Feyre is just like literally on another planet, and she's miserable. She's like, I don't want to do this. And so she ends up turning to this high priestess that Tamlin brought in to the spring court. Her name's Ianthe.
Ianthe. We learned from the graphic audio that we immersive read that we've been saying it wrong the whole time.
So basically, Ianthe's like happy to take over wedding planning duties. She's like in Tamlin's ear all the time, like basically pulling all the strings of like how they should rebuild the spring court and what they should do and how they should present this united front, whatever. She's a schemer, okay? Tamlin, all the while, in the name of like protecting Feyre, because he has decided that Feyre is essentially like target number one for all of Prithian because she saved everyone under the mountain. And everyone knows that she was made. She was made into a high fae by all of these high lords, giving her like kernels of their power. And so Tamlin has gets it into his head that he's like, everyone is going to come after you. I must be your protector. You cannot leave this house. You cannot leave these grounds without like constant supervision, without constant like guards on you the entire time.
Which is so crazy because did she not just save your ass, Tamlin?
Tamlin
literally
sat under the mountain on a fucking throne silent for months, doing nothing. And then all of a sudden, after Feyre saves his little ass, he's like, I am your protector. You
like,
cannot lift a dainty finger.
You just took down a woman that the entire Fae world could not take down with all the High Lords present. But I need to protect you from the lesser Fae in my community.
Literally textbook a man taking a strong woman and just being like desperate to make her small and make her submissive.
Yeah.
Like it was just reading it, I was like, God, I know like 10 guys like this. I know 10 Tamlins.
It's so true though. And it's just so disgusting that it also happens in the Fae world.
And then it also happens in the Fae world, not in the real world. I'm disgusted that this has made it into the Fae world.
Like, it's such a strong stereotype that it's made it into fantasy books.
Ill Feyre is not okay, and the people around her are making her less okay. And so she is trying to grab onto, like, any shred of hope at this point. Like, she is desperate to get out of the house. She's desperate to go help rebuild everything. And again, in the name of protecting her, Tamlin's like, absolutely not. You can't leave. She's like, bitch, let me out of here. And so she continues to like kind of spiral into depression. She's like, what's the point anymore? Whatever. I'll just let Ianthe plan this wedding while I just sit here.
Yeah,
and
she
doesn't
fight. She does not fight it very hard.
No, she tried like a couple of times and like really it kind of bit her in the ass, which we'll get into. So flash forward to her wedding day, and Feyre is also gaslighting herself because she's like, once we're married, everything will be fine. Everyone will know that Tamlin's my high lord and I belong to him, so they won't mess with me. And so Feyre's walking out into her wedding ceremony, has a full-scale panic attack, like textbook panic attack. And in her mind, she's like, I don't want this. No, 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 no. And then she's like, someone help me. Like, anyone help. She's like screaming for help in her brain.
But doesn't turn around herself. I got so confused. This is not a runaway bride situation. Let's be clear.
This is quite literally like a frozen bride in the middle of the ceremony. Like, she's literally halfway down the aisle and she's like, hold on.
And Ianthe's like, come on, it's okay.
Yeah, she's like, oh God, she's like a scared animal. Like, let me get her forward. And Tamlin's like, Feyre. So she is silently begging in her head for anyone to help her. And who shows up but the High Lord of the Night Court, Rhysand.
We've been waiting for you.
We've been waiting. So he comes and he calls in that little bargain that he made under the mountain. For those of you who may or may not have forgotten, if you did forget, I'm concerned about you. He made a bargain with Feyre that she would have to come to the Night Court once every month for a week. And so up until this point, he hadn't called in this bargain. He hadn't come and retrieved Feyre. Decides to do this in the middle of the ceremony, like the chaos goblin that he is.
Yeah.
And Feyre's like, oh no, shoot. And goes with Rhysand. Where he takes her to the Night Court. And this
but she's like kind of mad about it. She's like, oh my God, I'm so mad you're taking me away from Tamlin. I'm like, you've been begging for this.
She's like, how dare you? And Rhys is like, you asked for this. Like, stop. And
you've been screaming about this for 3 months.
You've been screaming in my head and your head about this. Like, enough. And so we get to the Night Court. But I also have like a lot of thoughts on the wedding itself and like them kind of positioning that as like the thing that would help everything. Like,
I want to hear this.
that was such another tactic to me of Tamlin's, to be like, you will belong to me. And like, when you do belong to me, like, you will be safe. Like, using it as this kind of like thing to like, obviously he fabricated this entire like threat to Feyre's life, and like using him, like them becoming joined as like this moment of like, once we cross across this threshold, like, all will be okay. And I was
you
like,
know what's so crazy about this also, Cass, is that the mating bond has not clicked at this point. Like,
no.
they're getting married and thinking it's going to solve all of their problems, and there's no mating bond.
Yeah, she's like, maybe later, like, Tamlin and I will have this mating bond and whatever. And she's like, I
Is
know
that
it's
like
super
not
rare.
number one red flag?
I mean, you would think that would be number one priority for her, but here we are.
So, like, during all of these, like, first couple of chapters, I was like, who do I hate more? Like, I was, like, so mad at every single person present in the spring court at this time.
That's true. Who did you hate more at this point?
I really hated Tamlin, like, way more than I remembered. Like, I think when I first read this book, I was like, okay, he's traumatized, Feyre's traumatized, they're gonna figure it out, there's gonna be some sort of, like, you know, consolation at the end of this. I also thought the wedding was gonna save the day, clearly.
There's gonna be a resolution in its marriage.
Yeah. But, like, I forgot how clearly he was gaslighting, which, again, we've talked about this. What was happening at the time when we were reading this book that we were okay with gaslighting so much?
What's wild, too, is that people still defend him. Like, I was looking on Reddit earlier today, and people were like, Tamlin was traumatized. Like, Tamlin had a tough childhood.
That was me.
Tamlin, blah, blah, blah. Like,
that was me.
Basically trying to say that, like, hurt people hurt other people. And I was like, why are we excusing this? Like,
yeah,
this man is centuries old. He's a high lord. Like, at what point is he supposed to know better? I'm sorry.
Right. But I also forgot about how Ianthe was, like, clearly such a bitch. I think when I read it the first time, I was like, oh, she's a priestess. She's just, like, trying to help. And I like, actually thought her and Feyre were friends. Reading it back, I'm like, she was part of the problem.
She was 100% part of the problem. I low-key think that Ianthe was Geppetto the entire time. Like, I think half of what happened was Tamlin's idea, and I think the other half was Ianthe's idea.
Yeah.
Like, I think they were so complicit, and I still hated Tamlin more in this scenario because, again, I'm like, you should know better, and you purport to be in love with this woman, and you're treating her like this. But, like, throughout the book, it just got to this point where I remember finishing and I was like, I hate Tamlin. Like, with the hate and, like, the heat of, like, 1,000 suns. Like, I was like, I have not hated a character this deeply and this intensely in such a long time. I despise this man.
Which is so crazy that people think he's going to have a redemption arc and are actually hoping that for him, like, hoping some savior for him. I'm like, he's been horrific.
I don't hope that. I hope that he stays in his little manor, and we'll get into the state that he's in later, but I hope that continues.
Yeah. Okay, so she goes to the night court with Rhys after being saved from the wedding, and she's, like, on her way there thinking this is going to be horrific because Under the Mountain was supposed to be made off of Rhys's Court of Nightmares. So she was like, this is going to be a nightmare. I'm going to be, like, abused, and I'm going to be so scared the whole time. She gets there, and it's, like, a beautiful marble open-air palace with, like, the night sky. Like, you can see all the constellations. I'm pretty sure that there's, like, shooting stars, and she's like, this is the most peaceful place I've ever been. Yeah. Rhys is like, welcome to my home, bitch. I told you it wasn't that bad. You should start believing what I say.
That's right. That's right, Feyre.
And so she, like, gets in there and she's like, there's, like, a bathtub, a cozy bed. She has the best night of sleep of her life. No nightmares. She starts eating again with Rhys. She's, like, just, like, coming back to herself. Yeah. Amongst this, Rhys is like, while you're here, let's teach you some things. So he decides to teach her how to read was one of the things. What was the other thing he decided to teach her? how to use her powers.
How to shield from him.
Yeah.
So, like, he can, I think, for anyone that remembers from the first book, he has, like, these mind powers, essentially, where he's able to infiltrate anyone's minds, obviously read their minds, but then potentially control their minds, like, all of this stuff. So he's like, you need to learn how to block me out.
And we get the first inkling that from Rhys that he's like, you have a little bit of kernel of all of the High Lords. Like, you have to start figuring out what that means for your power. Let's start with these shields. So teaches her how to shield, teaches her how to read a little bit. And her week is up, and she was like, that was honestly not that bad. And I feel pretty rested. I feel like I get my energy back. I'm ready to go back to Tamlin and, like, be with him and figure this out. Why she still thinks that's the answer, I don't know.
She's grasping for straws. She's desperate at this point. She's like, God, this has gotta work. I don't know what else I'm gonna do.
Take me back to Tamlin. I'm ready to talk to him. Gets there. Tamlin, of course, is on one. He's destroyed the whole spring court. He sits her down in her office, doesn't even give her a little smooch hello or anything, and is like, tell me everything you learned. Nobody's ever been inside of his court. We need to know word for word what this man spoke for you. And what?
The other thing that happened when she was in the night court is that Rhys tells her that he thinks that there's a war coming.
Oh, yes. I forgot that happened on this trip, because she goes back a few times.
Yeah. He, like, really drops a lot in the first visit, I feel like, because he's, like, desperate.
And he shows her, like, a map of all of the Fey worlds of Prithian, and she sees parts she hasn't seen before, and she sees something called Highburn, right?
Yep.
And she's like, I don't know about this. What is this about? And she learns about the whole, like, war from a different perspective than she knew from Amarantha, and that there's this king of Highburn, and he wants to take down the wall, which would then take down the mortal world, which for some reason she still cares what Nesta and Elaine are doing over there, and she feels like she needs to save them.
For some reason.
So in the back of her mind, she's like, I didn't know any of this because Tamlin's keeping me so in the dark. So I think she did have this little moment where she was like, I'm going to tell him how it is when I get back there. But he gets back there, and she doesn't tell him how it is. She just sits down like a little mouse and repeats everything.
She does say, like, Tamlin, should I be training my powers? Like, it sounds like this threat is coming. I could probably help. And she gets shut down so hard. He's like, absolutely not.
Yeah. And so then, is this when the tithe happens?
Yeah.
Which is when Tamlin goes around to all of his, like, plebeian lower Fae and are like, you have to pay me taxes to keep my estate running. It's very 17th century Europe. Like, we all know how this works.
It's literally me on TurboTax on tax day every
Give me your coppers.
That's TurboTax to me, is Tamlin on the tithe.
And he, like, becomes, like, pretty aggressive about it. And he's like, if you can't pay, you have to, like, show back up within, like, 3 days with the money. I don't know how they're going to get the money in 3 days. So what is the little creature that shows up and can't pay?
A water wraith.
A water wraith shows up and is like, me and my sisters are starving. There's no fish in the lake. We can't give you things we don't have. And Tamlin's like, better figure it out. And she's like, this is horrible. She walks away, like, so sad, and Feyre goes chasing after her and is like, have all of my jewels off of my body to pay your tithe this time around. And the water wraith is very scary, creepy, but looks her in the eye and says, me and my sisters will never forget this.
Well, that was a big moment too, because I feel like that was one of the only times that we saw Feyre, like, actively rebel during this period, like, where she's, like, mostly depressed. And it was the water wraith, like, being hungry that got her, where she was like, I know what it is to be hungry. And if someone turned me away when they were, like, literally bathing in gold, bathing in jewelry, like, I would have been so upset. And I kind of loved that, like, that was the thing that, like, snapped her out of it. Because it's like, yeah, Feyre, like, you survived. You not only survived, like, extreme hunger, but you also took care of an entire family during that. Like, you're a fucking badass. Like, do your thing, stand up for yourself. Don't let this little fucking baby ass High Lord tell you what to do. And so I loved that she did that. Obviously, it didn't work out in the short term for her.
Yeah, what was the repercussion? I can't remember.
It was so bad. She like gets in a fight with Tamlin about it, and he literally like blows the fuck up and like destroys his entire like study or something like that. Right. And this is actually the first time that her powers like actually show themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Because she is so afraid that she ends up shielding herself, which I think the power was from the House of Wind, I want to say. And so she was literally able to like put up this like force field between her and Tamlin while he's fucking wrecking up the entire goddamn house around her. And she like realizes, she's like, oh shit, like I have this. I have no idea how I conjured it, but I have this. And so this is actually like when we start to see things progress with her powers and like where we start to see her powers show. And it's literally always when she's feeling like an extreme emotion, like whether it's fear or sadness or anger or whatever. Like she literally would have like talons starting to like poke out of her hands, for example.
She burned the wood on the table.
She burned the wood on the table. Like there were just multiple scenarios where she was like, she accidentally went into Lucien's brain on accident and was like, oh fuck, oh my god, I'm looking through one eye. Oh my god.
Speaking of,
I'm looking through one actual eye and one golden eye. I don't know where the fuck I am. Get me out of here.
Speaking of that man, he is also rendered useless this entire time. He is doing absolutely nothing to help this woman who also saved his life so many times.
Zero. Like, it is Lucien. Like, yes, Tamlin and Ianthe were like outwardly horrific, but like Lucien was maybe up there as like one of the worst people in the world during this time. I was like, you know what's happening is wrong. You are watching your fucking friend Feyre wither into literally nothing.
She asked for help multiple times.
She's begging you for help multiple times, and you're just like, I'll talk to him. I'll make it better. I'll talk to him. And then he would go to Tamlin and like literally do fucking nothing. And it's like,
kiss his toes.
Kiss his toes.
So after she like realizes she has these powers, she goes back to the night court again, right?
Yeah, so she goes back, I think it's one other time, I want to say. And at this point, when she goes back, she's like slid way deeper into her depression. Like, she has lost way more weight. She's like not even willing to be like sassy with Rhys. Like, she's just like, let me fucking sleep and eat and practice my reading.
Yeah.
And leave me the fuck alone. And like,
and that's like all that really happens. Well, you meet Rhys's cousin Morrigan.
Yes.
For a very, very brief second. Feyre meets her. You never see her again. And at the end, when she's leaving for the week after she's gotten all her rest and food, she's like, whatever happened to Morrigan? And Rhys is like, dude, you're rude as fuck. You literally did not invite anybody to come talk to you, so we all just left you alone. Like, that's what happens when you're in a respectful household.
Correct. Yeah, when you literally are around adults. Like, this is how this goes. Also, Morrigan is this like beautiful, like ethereal being. Like, she shows up, she has these like long, luscious blonde locks, and she's just super fucking cool. And her dad runs the Court of Nightmares. Yes. Yeah. And she's like one of the only people that we've seen at this point, other than Feyre, like give Rhys some sass too, which I loved. So Feyre goes back to the Swing Court after this visit, and same shit's happening. Tamlin's like, Feyre, you will stay in this house and we will have sex when I'm here, but that's it.
Oh my god, that is another thing. That is another thing. I cannot believe how much sex she's having with Tamlin while all of this is happening. Like, he is being
nonstop,
so horrific, and literally like trapping her in the house, telling her she has nothing she can do. She has like no power in this world. And meanwhile, she's having sex with him every night.
The one thing I got out of this was that Tamlin must be really good in bed. So they are continuing to have these like sex marathons and like not speaking to each other. He's literally watching Feyre like wither to bone. And he's leaving one day with Lucien, and he's like, I'll be back in a couple of days. Like, whatever, you stay here. And Feyre, like, you stay here. And Feyre has her kind of like final moment of like, please, 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 like, let me out of this house. Like, please let me go with you. It's, like, really sad. She's fucking begging him. Like,
I
she's like, I
know.
won't make a peep. I won't get in the way. Like, please just let me go. And
Yeah.
Tamlin's like, absolutely not. And then she like finally breaks and she's like, Tamlin, if I have to stay in this house, like, I don't know how I'm going to survive it. Like, I can't do this anymore. Like, this is just too much. And he's like, no, sorry, I'm out. And like Lucien the
Yeah.
whole time is like watching this and he's like
Uh-huh.
giving her the eyes, whatever.
Right.
And they leave. And Feyre's like, what the fuck? She like tries to go outside. She gets stopped by a barrier, a force field on the house. Stopped. She's like, whoa. So she starts to go literally fucking feral. She's like throwing tables at the door to try and open it. She like runs up to a window. She's like pounding on the window.
She was ready to jump out of that window.
She was ready to risk it all to get out of this house. She cannot, of course. And so all of the they're like at this point too, like Tamlin, he's like showing signs of like the fact that he's also losing his fucking marbles. And so like there's like less servants in the house, like there's less people on the grounds, like whatever. And it's like definitely intentional, clearly, to like, I don't know, like
hide whatever's
Taylor,
happening. Yeah.
Overprotect Feyre, hide what's happening, whatever fucking toxic bullshit was in his head. So she's locked in this fucking house. She loses her shit. She essentially has like a full-blown breakdown to the point of like she essentially like unleashes her magic on the house and on everywhere. She's like in this like force field of like dark black magic.
It's like a tornado of shadow.
Yeah. And like meantime, like poor Alice is like in this house and she's like, Feyre? Feyre?
Are you okay? She's like, I haven't been okay. Where have you been?
She's like, bitch, you've been combing my hair and you've seen this shit, okay? So Feyre is like mid, like full scale fucking absolute crash out, and Moore shows up, picks her up, and she's like, you're safe, you're free, we're taking you. And she literally takes her from the spring court. And meanwhile, also Alice was like talking to Moore and she's like, please protect her. It's like, okay, Alice, whatever.
Yeah.
And so Moore takes her from the spring court, delivers her to Rhys, and Rhys takes her to the night court from there. And that part for me, I was like, reading this back for the second time, I was like, I cannot fucking believe that he did that. Like, I can, but I can't. Like, that was just like another level of so scary. Like, locking her up in that fucking house. Like, what?
What's the point? At this point, you're like, what's the point? I don't understand, like, why she can't even be in the garden.
Right. Like, are you so thoroughly desperate to, like, break this woman that you are, like, she cannot leave the confines of these, like, 4 fucking walls? Like, it was just,
you know
what?
What?
Things.
They never talk about, like, let's reschedule the wedding, what happened at the wedding. They never talk about it.
No, not once.
So what is his deal with, like, he loves a prisoner?
He loves a prisoner.
He has a prisoner kink? Is that what's happening?
It's a prisoner trope.
Like, so crazy. So then she goes to the Court of Nightmares and Rhys is like, Morgan had to go get you because, like, a High Lord can't, like, step in and kidnap another High Lord's, like, girlfriend or whatever she is at this point, captive.
Yep.
And he's like, so she had to bring you here, but we will not keep you here if you don't want to be here. You are here because you needed to be saved from yourself. But if you don't want to stay here, you're free to go.
You're a free fucking woman, Feyre. But she's like, I don't know where I would go. And like, I felt so bad for her in that moment. Like, I was thinking about myself and I was like, holy shit. Like, you have been forced into like immortality because you died saving all these fucking fairies. And then you're stuck with this toxic ass fucking boyfriend for however long, like, which gets so bad that you're desperate to leave. But then the place that you leave for is the place that you've been told for however long is like the worst fucking place in the world.
Yeah.
And like, she was in a bind. Like, at this point, I'm such a hardcore Feyre sympathizer.
But also, why didn't she just go back to her sisters?
They hate the fairies or the fae.
I don't know.
Like, she would have been locked up in their house too, because it's not like she could have been like roaming the immortal lands as a fae.
Yeah, she could have.
No, this literally comes up in the book.
Okay, we'll get back to it. Listen
Part
up.
2. We'll see you in part 2.
But then she's like, where will I go? Even though there's a lot of options. And he is like, you can stay here. You can work for me. I'll pay you a salary. You can have a room at my house until you figure out how to get on your feet. Like, but it's all up to you. And she like barely hesitates and is like, okay, I'll stay.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so he's
okay, cool.
like,
sounds good.
Yeah, okay, great. So he is like, I am going somewhere. I'll be back. And she's like, please don't leave without me. And he's like, okay, if you come with me, like, there's no coming back. Like, whatever you see, you cannot tell a single soul. And we also find out at this point that he knows that Feyre has been like feeding information to Tamlin every time she's
right.
visited.
So why does he trust her with this? Is my question.
I don't know. He's like, there's a lot of things that I'm like, this man was just like a lovesick puppy.
Yeah.
And so he's like, you need to keep this hush hush. She's like, okay, fine. And then that's when they go to Valaris. The city of starlight. Did you, for whatever reason, when they went, I like weirdly had like Vegas in my head. I was like, why do I feel like there's like glimmering signs that say Valaris?
Why is she in a convertible she's standing up a little bit, her hair is in the wind, and she's like, home.
By Natasha Bedingfield is in the background.
And she's like, this is my place.
She's like, I've made it, baby. So she reaches Valaris, and she is winnowed into what is best described as a townhome, a very swanky, a very swanky but like lived in like homey townhome essentially. And
dark wood,
like,
leather furniture,
dark wood, beautiful. I was like, oh God, like I feel like she's describing how I would like to design my current home.
Yeah, right.
And never will be able to. So exactly. She gets transported to this townhome. She's like, what the fuck is going on? Meanwhile, 2 seconds later after they arrive, people are banging on the door. She's like, who's there? She sees, apparently this door is like,
who's
frosted.
There?
Who's there? Who's in my townhome?
That I've been in for 3 seconds.
This door is like frosted, and she can literally see the outline of wings in this. Yeah. And it's 2 men that are banging on there, and they're like basically sound like little frat boys who are like ready to go drink and party. And she's like, what the fuck is going on? And Rhys is like, if you don't want to meet these people, go upstairs to your room. Like, these shadow twins will take care of you. Like, do
these shadow twins, which is so crazy, because at this moment, if I was her, I'd be like, I'm staying. I need to know what's going on here. And she's like,
so depressed though.
She's like, I think I'll take my leave from here.
I do think I'll go with the shadow twins.
Yeah.
So Feyre ends up meeting Rhys's family, what he calls his family, which is really like his very close group of friends that he calls the inner circle. Mm-hmm. And Feyre has dinner with them. And essentially it's like her interview and their cross interview to see if they can work together, like if they would be like a good match, if she could fit in. And she, of course, passes the test. And we meet these people in more in depth. And so the 2 men that were at the door were what we call the Bat Boys.
Oh, yeah. We've been waiting for you.
We've been waiting for you, boys. It turns out all of the men in Valaris are insanely attractive.
Hats.
And so
they're hot.
So one of them, his name is Cassian, and he is the leader of the Night Court's armies. Like, he's the general of the armies. And then another one's name is Azriel. Yeah, he's what is called Rhys's spy master. So he's essentially the guy that's like going and collecting gossip, and he's like whispering in Rhys's
shadow
ear.
singer.
Shadow singer. And so these 2 boys are like Rhys's like right-hand boys. And then we also meet this woman named Amren, and she is what Rhys says is his second in command. So Amren, she like has this weird, dark, ancient power about her that
non-human.
no one understands. Yeah. Not human.
Yeah.
No one gets it. No one understands it. But she's scary. And Feyre doesn't fully understand what her deal is, but she's like, I'm just going to be nice to you. And then, of course, there's more who we actually learn is not only Rhys's cousin, but also his third in command.
Yeah. And also, so when I read this book, Cassian, to me, immediate mental picture, you're like, he's rugged, big biceps, big butt, big legs. And he is like
Big.
Tattooed, hot, big, sweaty. And then I also like pictured Azriel as more like, I don't know, like mysterious, like maybe like handsome in an unconventional way is how I was picturing him. But in the book, which I didn't notice before, she literally writes that he is traditionally handsome.
Yeah, like he's like traditionally beautiful or whatever.
Yeah, and I was like, that is not how I took it the first time.
I feel like the first time I didn't fully know where to go with it because you learn more about his personality. And I agree, like once you learn more about it, I went your direction.
Yeah.
But then when she first met him, I did read that and I remember taking it in and I was like, oh, he probably just looks very similar to like how Rhys is really beautiful. So I don't know. I'm like still kind of torn on him, honestly. And I've looked at a lot of fan art of this man.
But we meet Amren, who is also described as non-human, like the vibe that she comes from another world. And you're like, immediately like, whomst is this girl?
Whomst is this woman? She, honestly, when I first read this, I was like, she is only Edna mode in my head. And that's it.
Well, she's also not eating human food. She's drinking blood.
She's literally drinking blood. I was
so you're like,
is
she a vampire? Are there vampires in this world? I don't know.
Turns out she's not. She's just some otherworldly thing that we still don't know about.
Also, like, so she meets them, and what do they discuss at this dinner? Do they discuss the war?
They discuss like the first war a little bit, like and what all their positions were in it and what they did and whatever, and then they kind of discuss how, and it becomes very clear too that they're all like very guilty about Rhys's time under the mountain because we also learn while Feyre's in Velaris that Rhys protected the entire city with whatever was remaining of his powers. And so he essentially like kept it hidden from the world. Like as the world was crumbling around it, he kept it just like perfectly protected. And so his friends were a part of that. And so they're like very guilty that Rhys went through it.
And we also learn that the three men were Illyrian soldiers, which is like this fighting unit that is basically born and bred to be the best fighters in Prythian. And they have wings, they can fly. They don't have magic, though. Like, Rhys is a special Illyrian because he was sent there to train with them, but wasn't born Illyrian, so he has the magic. But Cassian and Azriel don't actually have, like, magic like the High Fae do.
Yep, that's right. Then they have magic, right? But it's just like... It's like
strength. It's like brute
fighting magic.
Yeah. They don't have any sort of, like, fire, wind, water.
Yeah. Not any elemental magic.
And we also learned that Moore was sent there because she was like tried to get married off by her parents to a horrible person. She's like, I'll tell you more about that later, but that's how I ended up here as well.
Yep, exactly. So Feyre ends up spending this dinner with all of them. She's like, all right, these people are kind of crazy, but I'm down. And so she accepts Rhys's offer and she's immediately thrown into her first task. And her first task is to go see this creature thing called the Bone Carver. The Bone Carver is this thing that's like hidden in this super top secret intense prison that houses these creatures for I don't even know how long. And he is essentially like able to he knows everything. Like he's able to like tell you anything, give you answers to any of your questions, but you have to bargain with your own answers to things.
Right.
Like he's like kind of a little gossip, basically.
It kind of gives cereal, which is interesting.
It does give cereal.
I wonder.
That's a good connection. I like that. So she goes down to see the Bone Carver and basically ends up getting answers about what she is, which she's like one of the first high fae that's been like what they call made by the cauldron, essentially. And she's one of the first in like centuries. Like I can't even remember how long it had been since the last person that
well,
happened
at
to.
this point, you're like kind of like, oh, was Amren also made? Like it feels like she was one of these made creatures as well.
Yes. Yeah. Which I feel like she says stuff where it like kind of hints to that too.
Yeah.
And then he also confirms what Hybern's up to. He's like, yes, this man is literally building an army as we speak. And then he starts to tell them, because they're like, how do we defeat this man? Like, what do we do? And he was like, he's currently rebuilding the cauldron to bring back this man named Jurian, who was a part of the first war, who Amarantha hated and killed and made into an eyeball ring so that she could wear it all the time, which still blows my mind.
Honestly, that's like one of the few things I like about Amarantha. I'm like, yes, bitch.
She's like, yeah, I'm gonna make you watch everything. I'm not gonna let you just die. That's how this goes. So he starts to tell them like, oh, Hybern has already collected the like feet of the cauldron to bring it back. And the only way to nullify this is by finding this thing called the Book of Breathings that has like spells or something in it that you would need to recite to the cauldron. And Feyre is the only person that can do this because she is made. She's someone that like essentially can speak to the cauldron. And so they're like, well, fuck. Okay. Sounds good.
Wait, also this whole time the bone carver is a shapeshifter and he's a little boy.
Yeah, he like shows up as like something different for everyone. And he's like a little boy for Feyre. And I can't remember what he was for Rhys. Do you remember?
I don't know, but why does that make it so much creepier?
I don't know.
I'm like, this is a horror film.
It is a horror film. At this point, I'm like, how is she not having just regular nightmares, like minute by minute?
I would rather him look like Gollum than a little boy.
Yes. So then they go back and she is like pretty much immediately set into her next task. And that if Rhys is like trying to test if her kernels of power that she was given by these high lords would essentially like help her be called to objects that belong to them or things that they would do or whatever that like are specifically tied to their power. And so he's like, I'm going to test this out. I have this little object at this creature called the Weaver's home, and I need you to go get it.
And blast us to literal nightmare Hansel and Gretel.
I mean, all of these creatures, I was like, I could do without you people. Like, you're creeping me out. Which also props to Sarah J. Maas for this, because I feel like sometimes people kind of like write off ACOTAR on the like fantasy side of things and like act like it's kind of fluffy and it's just romance. But these elements to it, I felt like were truly fantasy things.
Yeah.
I was like, oh wow, okay.
Like creatures from The Witcher.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was impressed. But she goes to the Weaver and she's forced to collect this object. She does. She almost dies in the process, of course. And gets out, and Rhys is like, oh, thank you. Thanks for that.
And at this point, this is kind of what you brought up earlier, Cass. You're like, she, at the beginning of this book, is so depressed, feeble, can't even, like, choose her own wedding flowers. But then all of a sudden, she has, like, this complete personality 180 and is also, like, able to fight these creatures that literal fae are not even able to defeat. Like, when they come back from the Weaver, all of the inner circle is like, what the you went to the Weaver and came out alive? And she's like,
they're like, pissed at Rhys.
By the skin of my knees. And they're like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah, she did. I remember when she was escaping, she was like terrified or whatever. And she's like, I'm going to die in here. I'm going to suffocate. And then she was like, you know what? You are strong. Like, remember that you have survived. You have endured. You have done all of these things. And like, that's how she gets out. So I feel like this is where we start to see her get some confidence and like get back to that like brave person that she was before Tamlin. And it was cool to watch, because I was like, a lot of these parts like kind of dragged on a little bit, but then when you're actually looking back at it, I was like, oh, she needed all of these things to happen to like get back to who she was.
she's essentially doing the trials again in like a modified form. Like Rhys basically has her under the mountain, to be honest.
Basically.
Like, I think that he's going to step in and save her if something goes wrong, but like he is definitely testing her.
He's like, good luck.
Yeah.
I'll see you on the other side, maybe.
And these are like brutal tasks that she's having too.
Truly, truly. So we end all of her tasks with once she's proven that she's able to retrieve this object of his, Rhys is like, okay, we are actually about to go to the summer court because this is where half of the Book of Breathings lives. And your task is to find this book and retrieve it.
And now that we know that like calls to like, that the maid calls to maid, we think that you're going to know where the Book of Breathings is in the court because it's going to call to you.
Yep, exactly. So that whole part of the book was just wild to me. Like I just I couldn't believe how much happened. It was just, I don't know.
Also,
I can't believe how much she packed in.
During all of that, there's like a lot of flirting going on the side. And there's a lot of like romantic tension between Rhys and Feyre. She like helps save Rhys from one of his nightmares and like sees his wings and naked body and penis probably. And like there's a lot of like connections going on. They're getting closer. Feyre feels weird about it because she was just about to be married a few weeks ago and now she's having like sexual tension feelings for another man. But nothing has happened yet, right?
No, nothing's happened. They are just, I feel like, which I would love your take on this because reading it back, like I obviously knew where it was going, but I feel like initially the first time I was reading it, I was like, is this authentic? Like, I can't tell. Like, I can't tell if he's just trying to, like, get her out of her depression by, like, flirting with her shamelessly or, like, what's going on here. Because he, like, very clearly had these, like, uses for all of the people in his inner circle, even though they were, like, his quote-unquote family.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what's his angle? But, like, now reading it back, I was like, I knew what his angle was.
Reading it back, I was like, oh, he's like a lovesick puppy way more than I realized the first time. Like, he was like, she was catching his eye. He was looking at her across the room. Every time she did something, he was like way too proud of her. Like, he was like, trying.
He was a little simp.
Yeah, he was a little simp. So it was much more obvious now knowing during the reread. But I do think the first time, at this point, somehow I'm still trying to suss out if Tamlin's making it back.
Desperate for the Tamlin redemption.
Somehow I'm still waiting for Tamlin to have his redemption arc in this. So I like was not letting myself like Rhys at this point, but
I think at this point I had fully written off Tamlin. I was like, please, for the love of God, let this be a legitimate flirtation because I need her to be done. I'm done with this blonde MMC. Like, I knew they weren't to be trusted. I'm done here.
And we were like, please, Rhys, don't let this all be a game.
Yeah. And also, how did you picture Rhys, like, at this stage, too? Because obviously when they're under the mountain, he's, like, pale and, like, a little gone. Like, he doesn't have his powers. But, like, when I was rereading how she was describing him versus, like, a Cassian versus an Azriel, I feel like I was definitely picturing, like, she said that he had golden tan skin, I think. And I was like,
did she?
Yeah, and I think initially I thought that he had darker skin.
Oh,
but
I
now
thought
I'm like,
he was
maybe he's like more like Middle Eastern or something like that.
I thought he was like Edward Cullen.
No.
I thought he was like so pale that he was like shining like the stars of Valaris. Because I assumed that because they're in a night court where the sun has barely rised. I didn't expect him to have melanin.
You would think. Maybe it's from the Illyrian side of him. Because I think she also described Cassian and Azriel as having like similar skin tones.
I was definitely picturing him with his bat wings and like, you know, his sharp teeth like a vampire. Dracula.
Wow. The polar opposite of what I was picturing.
Yeah. Stop.
So at this point, are you like into him or no?
Yeah, I am. Because, like, I'm so against Tamlin.
Dracula Edward Cullen.
I never said I was not against a vampire. I would love a hot vampire. I would let that man bite me and not kill me, but he can suck a lot of my blood.
Just enough where I'm still okay.
Yeah, I am not against that whatsoever. So yeah, I was still into him. But I also was like immediately into Cassian. So like I kind of left Rhys at the door. I was like, yeah, you're really good for Feyre, but I'll take Cassian.
Yeah, I feel like I was not at all swayed by Cassian or Azriel.
Oh, really? Yeah. As soon as Cassian was being like a little dick and I like kind of like messing around, but was also being hot, I was like, give me that man on a plate.
Give me that hunk of meat. Yeah, no, I was very not swayed. I was like, oh, nice. Like, he has these friends. He has these brothers. Whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Moving on.
I was also, like, very into Morgan at this point. Like, not in a sexual way. It could be. She was very hot. But I was like, oh, my God, this girl gang that could become between Amren, Morgan, and Feyre. I was like, I'm about this. Totally spies.
I loved it. Totally spies.
I was ready for them to like literally take this place down.
Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah. I was like, this is a trio that I'm here for.
I would agree. They were like, it was so funny because I didn't realize how kind of long it took for Feyre to like accept that they would be girlfriends. And like Feyre kind of said this in the book too, where she was like, I haven't really had any friends. Like I've had like Nesta and Elaine, like I kind of had like girls around the village and like that's it. And so like seeing her like kind of be like a little bit meager around them initially and then like actually becoming friends with them and like putting her best foot forward and like getting to know them, I really loved that. I was like, I like a side girl gang storyline.
Personality 180 for Feyre. She's got friends now.
We thought it was about the love story, but it's actually about the friendships.
Yeah, 100%. Okay,
should we get into our character rankings?
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Good.
Remind us of the rules.
Okay, so this is a character ranking. So we will be ranking our favorite characters to our least favorite characters, but we're probably going to start with our least favorite characters.
Yes.
So we have how many characters? We have Tamlin, Feyre, Lucien, Ianthe, Alice, Rhysand, Mor, Cassian, Amren, and Azriel. Okay, so we have 10 characters.
Okay.
Are you ready for your bottom?
Yeah, 10. Tamlin.
Do it.
10 Tamlin.
10 Tamlin.
9 Ianthe.
Put him at 11. Yes, 9 Ianthe. Easy. Like,
it's
boom,
like
boom.
we don't even need to explain. We explained enough at the beginning.
The toxic twins at the bottom. Honestly, put the toxic trio. Put Lucien down there.
I know, Lucien.
He's number 8.
8, 9, 10. The toxic trio that
the
literally
toxic spring court trio.
Could have done without them in this entire book. They brought me nothing but negativity.
They brought me nothing but pure just rage and anger. Yeah. But Lucien, I was like, how could you?
Yeah, I like we were
grace.
Literally ranking him like maybe 2 on some of the other rankings in book 1. Like we were like, oh, he's such a great side character.
Yeah, I'm like, what a legend this man is. Like, poor Lucien with his fox mask having to run around.
Not anymore. He's a big dumpster fire now.
Literally. Oh, okay. So the toxic trio.
Yeah, and then Alice is on this list, which you know how I feel about her from our last character ranking. I think she's giving mommy dearest. And
she's 100% number 7.
Yeah, so she's 7, but like she also maybe should be with the toxic trio.
Like toxic quad.
But again, I think romantasy readers have mommy issues because we're like, no, but she brushed Feyre's hair.
She asked Mor to protect her when she was stealing her away. Like, she just wasn't as bad to me as the trio was. So, like, that's why she's 7.
This is going to be really hard, though, 6 through 1, because this is the whole inner circle and Feyre.
I know. Okay, here we go. My
number 6.
My 6 is Amren. Mm-hmm.
Oh, my 6 is Azriel.
What?
Okay, so Amren's, oh God, Amren's probably my 5, okay? And why they're 5 and 6 respectively is that we don't know enough about them yet. They're both a mystery still. We're not sure what role they're going to play in this. Are they going to be a backstabber? I mean, they're kind of in the shadows. We don't know about them.
I don't know. I think I definitely give more chips to Azriel because at this point we know that he's definitely in love with more. He's pining after more. We know about his background and how he was raised and how he was abused as a child. We know all these things about him. We literally don't know anything about Amren other than she's obsessed with jewelry and she has some crazy dark ancient power that we don't know anything about.
You've actually swayed me, and it's hard to sway me because I don't fall for your tricks that often. But you have swayed me. Maybe I'm going to switch because you're right. Azriel had a really sad upbringing that we learned about at the dinner.
So that was what, 6 and 5?
5, so we're at 4, which is really tough for me.
I think my 4 is Cassian.
I think my 4 is Cassian too. You're right. Even though I almost didn't want to say it because I was immediately sexually attracted to this man.
Yeah.
I needed one sentence to come out of his mouth to know that he was the one for me.
Yeah,
but
of course.
He's going to be at the top of my list at a later date, and I already know that.
Correct.
So right now he has to sit pretty.
Correct. And my number 3 is Moore, and I just think she did way more at this point in the book for Feyre. And was a really good friend to Rhys. She was a really good friend to Feyre. We just saw way more of her personality, and she was just such a fucking badass. I love her.
Yeah.
So I was I can't do Cassian over her.
Yeah, and Moore is my 3 too, which is really hard for me to say because that means Feyre is my 2.
Ooh,
and she was my 9 at one point.
Literally, she was at the bottom of the totem pole for you on the last ranking.
I hated Feyre in ACOTAR. I thought she was a worthless worm until the very end. And so this is really tough for me, but the personality switch she has when she officially goes to the night court, I'm yes, I've been waiting for you. Where have you been? She's such a badass. She's confidently talking back to people. She's saying who she is, what she wants. Yep. She's doing these trials. And like you said, she's doesn't think she can do them. And then halfway through, she's hold on a second. I'm a strong ass woman. And she fights her way through. So her comeback story is definitely something.
I would agree. And that's actually, I'm going to rank her as number 1 for that reason.
She just, because of average, when you have to average out the scale of your ratings, I can't ever put her at 1 through this entire series, I don't think. Because she was at literal 9 last book.
Oh my god. No, she is number 1 for me in this part of the book, at least. She, like I said earlier, I was just such a sympathizer for what she was going through. She went from literally being a starving, basically homeless person, protecting her entire family, to being brought into Prithian, into a new world, figuring that out, going under the mountain, killing everyone, saving the entire fucking world by herself, and then being taken down by this motherfucker. My God. And then coming back from that and starting to find herself, starting to find her purpose, being open to the world again. I don't know. She went through so much where I was she was good in this book. She was a really good character.
I forgot how inspiring she was, I guess. When I was reading it, I was yes, go girl, get it girl.
Yeah.
But
yes.
The reason that Rhys is my number 1 instead of her is because in comparison to how awful Tamlin is, you're like, thank God there's a respectful man with emotional intelligence that knows how to give adults space and time and feelings. But also, while he's like being respectful and all of that, he's also simping after Feyre and like, you know, being a little lovesick puppy, which it was like really, really cute to watch. So
I mean, I am obsessed with him. Like, I remember after this book, I was like, this man is it for me. There's no going back. Like, Rhysand is my book husband. Like, he's not even my book boyfriend. He's my book husband. I love him.
Yeah. This is the book you start comparing every other book boyfriend to.
Every other book boyfriend, every other real boyfriend, like literally everyone you start to compare to Rhysand. And also, I wonder if that happens in the real world too. Like, you like deal with such shitty men and then you meet like one good respectable man and you're like, holy shit.
Oh, 100%. I can tell you from
person in the world.
I can tell you from personal experience.
No. Okay, so our number 1 and 2 interchangeably are Rhys and Feyre. Mine is pretty firm number 1, Feyre, though.
This character ranking is really, you know, Cass, I never have an Easter egg. I have never foreshadowed something in my life. And I was reading this and I was like, that's so Raven. Oh, I didn't even think about this until this reread. And can I get into it?
Let's do it.
So like we were talking about Amren, she's a mystery. We don't know much about her yet. She comes from another world. She talks a different language. She kind of has some like vibes to her that she's unhuman. And you're reading this through and the first time and you're just like so confused about what she is that I think you're not paying attention to the fine details. But the second time around, you start paying attention and like the descriptors of her that the people around her use. And there's a lot of descriptors where they describe her as a person that likes to hoard jewelry, likes to hoard things, a person that is described as like a fire drake, which is another word for a dragon.
So the like Easter egg in this, right, is like the tie to Crescent City. Is that right?
Yes. And so then I'm like, oh my God, because when I read this the first time, obviously we hadn't read Crescent City.
Right. Exactly.
And so I'm like, oh my God, she literally is being described as the little dragon that they save in Crescent City 3. Is this on the internet? Is this a well-known thing?
I actually don't know.
Because
I think we should look this up.
Yeah, we should look this up because I don't know that I've heard a lot of people talk about this. And I was like, they are so clearly, Sarah J. Maas is so clearly telling us that she's a dragon. Like, I have no doubt. If she tells me she's not a dragon, my only other guess is that she's a phoenix. And it's a Harry Potter fanfic.
She's Dumbledore. Okay, let's see. I'm on Reddit right now on an Amren theory. Okay, so number 1 theory is that she's a fallen angel. And then number 2 theory is that she's a dragon.
Yeah, okay, well, switch them because I'm right. And number 1, she's a dragon. Number 2, she's not a fallen angel. The bitch doesn't even have wings. What are you talking about?
I think people... she's got wings, okay?
Yeah, like a drake is a dragon. How many times do I have to say it?
It's hard because the way that Amren is described in this book, like, very clearly aligns with that. But then I think the way that she's described in the next book supports the way that the character Fury in Crescent City is described. And so I think that people, like, really want to tie her to Fury, and Fury is not a dragon.
And we don't know what Fury is either. Like, Fury is, like, a mystery, maybe not human. Like, we don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I think I need one more book of Amren to solidify my argument that she's a dragon. But
I would agree.
I put a pin in it, put a bookmark in it. I'm coming back to this because, like I said, I've never had a theory ever in my life.
I like those. No, I like that theory, and I actually totally agree.
Don't you people force me into a Crescent City reread.
Do not.
I barely made it out alive.
No, which speaking of Crescent City, in Jessica's library,
Oh.
I guess there is a book called The Book of Breathings.
Was there?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that angel who actually had wings, Micah, like pulled out the Book of Breathings at a certain point.
What?
Isn't that wild? Yeah.
Okay.
Crossover.
But what is the, like, oh my god. But that doesn't make any sense, because now I don't want to jump ahead, but in CC3, the timelines don't make sense, because in CC3, when the ACOTAR fellas show up, they have already destroyed the Book of Breathings, right?
I don't know.
I don't remember what happens in the next two ACOTAR books, so I actually do not know.
I was literally just about to ask you that. I was like, you have told me time and time again that you do not recall what's occurred in this book.
I literally don't know if they actually destroyed the Book of Breathings.
Out of nowhere pulling out a niche fact about the Book of Breathings.
I actually don't even remember if they end up destroying it or not. So this is tough for me.
Oh my god. Okay. So, oh my god. All right, before we open our big ass mouths again, come back next Sunday for part 2, where we will pick up at the summer court and get into all the juicy stuff that happens in the back half of this book. We have a mating bond. We have sisters in peril. We have more of Cassian being a hunk of meat on a stick. We have all the good stuff. All the goods. So come back for more. And in the meantime, we'll see you here, same time, same place. Grab your book boyfriends, grab your blankets, and we'll see you then.
Bye.